toe looks like from the tip. So as if you stuck your fist inside the sock and we're looking at it head on to the toe. And this is what's called a spiral or round toe. And it's going to look something like this. And I really have a hard time drawing this, so bear with me if I get it wrong. There we go. Okay, so you can see that we have 4 sections, and they'd actually be equal, even though my drawing's not exactly equal. And it forms a little spiral that comes together in the center. When we get down to having just 2 stitches in each section, or 8 stitches, we'll finish off the toe by gathering it in together. So when you have the finished toe on the sock, it's going to look something like that, looking at it then with the rest of the foot there. Okay, let's knit a round toe together. I said we need to have 4 equal sections, so for our sock with 48 stitches, that means we need 12 stitches in each section. I'm working this on double pointed needles, and I could have 12 stitches on each of 4 double pointed needles, or as I have set up here, my preferred way of working on double pointed needles is that I have 12 stitches on each of the needles that hold the 2 halves of the stitches that are on the sole of the foot, and I have the whole top of the foot on one needle, so I've put a marker in the middle of it, so I have 12 stitches on either side of the marker. So first thing I'm going to do is just change to a different color, in this case for illustration purposes, or the same thing if I were actually going to knit the toe of the sock in a different color, and I'm just going to go all the way around in the new color. Again, the reason I like to just knit one plain round when I change colors is that it makes a really smooth transition from one section to the other. Not only because we're changing colors, but in this case, when we change to the toe of a sock, we're also possibly changing pattern stitches because we may have been doing some kind of cables or lace or ribbing, or here this cocoon stitch that I have on the top of the foot. So knitting one round all the way around just gets it all evened out and prepared for knitting the toe. Okay, so now we've got our sock, we've got it a round knit plain to transition from the foot to the toe, and we're just going to work to the last 2 stitches in each section, and we're going to knit those 2 stitches together. So the only decrease we need to know for this toe is knit 2 together, and we're only going to use it 4 times. When we get to the last 2 stitches of each section, we will knit those 2 stitches together. And we'll do that every other round. Okay, and the last round will just be knit 1, knit 2 together, so that you have 2 stitches left on each needle. I don't like to go down to 1 stitch left on each needle because I find that that makes too much of a point at the tip. And I'm just going to take my marker out now to get rid of it, just because it seems to be redundant when I'm down to the very last round. And so I've got 8 stitches left. All right, so I am going to break my yarn. So I break my yarn and I thread it on a tapestry needle, and then I'm just going to run the needle through all of the stitches, just going around, and I take the needles out as I do that. Now, some people like to go around twice, and it's easier to go around the second time if you leave the knitting needles in while you run the tapestry needle through the first time. I don't bother going around twice because I think it's a pain in the neck, and I haven't found that any of my toes that I've done this way have fallen apart or been weak in any way. But if you want to tighten it up and be a little more secure, you can. And here I've missed a stitch, so I'm just going to grab it right now with my needle. And then I'll show you, as I said at the beginning, if you put your fist in it, there's a little spiral you can see there, and I'm going to take the tapestry needle with the thread, and I'm going to put it right in the center of that spiral and pull it to the inside. And there's my finished round toe. And that's all there is to it.